Great to be here.
Yeah. All right. It is, I think we're just going to have people popping on and off as we go through. So why don't we go ahead and get started? And I just want to, first of all, I want to welcome everybody here to the webinar. And of course, we're recording this. So people who aren't actually on right now are still going to have the opportunity to learn from Sarita and Jay about these amazing cities and what you can get at different price points in these different cities. And whether you're looking for a second vacation home or a third or fourth vacation home, or you're looking to actually relocate at some point in the future, or do both, a vacation home that you're planning on actually moving into in the next 2 to 5 to 10 years. These are the experts in the area. They're operating at a very high level in their areas. And what we know is, because you're coming to this webinar through some amazing teams that are a part of the Keller Williams SoCal Masterminds group. And those are the top teams from throughout Southern California who are all working together to put together great programming such as this and to provide the best service possible to not only agents around the country, but to clients around the country as well. And what we know is that because you work with us, you're used to operating at a very high level with your realtors. And what we know is that you need that same level of expertise wherever it is you're moving around the country. And so today we're going to be focusing on two hot spots of activity where people from Southern California are moving to. And that's, of course, Boise, which we've sent so many of our clients to, as well as Portland, who doesn't want to be there. So we've selected two of the most incredible agents in those markets to just introduce a little bit about their cities to you and what you can expect at different price points, so that you can start moving forward with a little bit more assurance about what you can get in those cities. It's just an overview. It's not going to be a super in-depth, because we don't have time for that. That would take hours and hours and hours and hours on each individual city, but at least you'll get a sense of what's possible. And once you have that sense, then it's kind of downhill from there. So when this is all over, we're going to reach out to you and talk to you about what it is that you saw and what you were excited about, and make sure you get connected with either of these great agents. Or if there's another city that or a part of the country or part of the world that you're excited about and would like to know more about moving to, we can connect you with agents there as well. So we're here for you. We know that you have discriminating tastes. Most of us are in the luxury network as well. And we want to make sure that you get that really great service. So without further ado, I'm just going to share my screen right now and take us into the actual program. Now, Microsoft is having problems today. So if things are a little slow or clunky, it's worldwide. Microsoft is having problems. In case you didn't know, it's a problem worldwide. So if you're experiencing problems at home and you're on an Apple, this is not it. But if you're on a PC, then you might be experiencing problems with your Windows. So today, we're going to be talking, of course, about Portland and Boise. And actually, before we do this, let me just stop sharing my screen. I should have done this before. I want to ask you a few questions just to see what you all are most interested in. Oops, stop share. There we go. I'd like to know what you're most excited about as far as this particular webinar. And so there's a poll that should be up in front of you right now. And are you most excited about give me land, lots of land under starry skies above, Boise, or keep it weird, Portland, or you're really open to many things, Chuck? All right. It's okay. Just go ahead and click one of them. Boise's in the lead, and here we go. I'm going to end the polling, share the results. Looks like 4 of you were very interested in Boise, a couple in Portland, and a couple who were open to lots of wonderful things. That's great. I'm so glad that you all shared that with us. Let's do one more poll just to see. Stop share results, and let's go to the next poll, price point. Okay, so you're a baller. You could do anything, but you would like to keep the price of your new home investment below a certain number. Would you prefer to stay below 400,000, below 800,000, below a million, or the sky's the limit, Chuck? Whatever. And everyone's clicking. We're seeing the results coming in at this point. The below a million, it seems to be at the top. And ooh, one person who is the baller who says sky's the limit, Chuck. All right, share the results there, and there you are. So most people are want to keep it below a million. Probably would be okay with something at 400,000 if you can find something great there, but I can probably go up to a million. That's excellent. All right, thank you so much for that, everybody. I appreciate you spending the time doing that. All right, so now let's go ahead and share the screen and go to the presentation itself. And there we are. Can everyone see that okay?
Yep.
Yep.
All right. There we go. All right. So the main sponsors of today are Keller Williams Luxury, and in particular, the teams of Hoffman Murphy, the Chesi Pagano and Associates, who are in force today right here on the workshop. Thank you for being with us. The Dave Knight Real Estate team, and of course, my very own Red Real Estate Group and John's as well. We're so glad that you're with us and that you're spending your time with us. Our two speakers are Sarita Dua with Portland and Jay Andrus. Jay, did I spell your name correctly?
No.
It's Andrus, isn't it?
Yeah, it's missing the R. No big deal.
Well, I noticed it now. At least I noticed it at some point. But we're going to start with Portland. Isn't that a beautiful photo?
That is
The
pretty.
best
Thank you.
photo, Sarita. Sarita comes to us from Portland. She's an exceptional agent up there. She has a team of people who are supporting her, and she's going to be closing about $40 million worth of deals in Portland this year. She's extraordinary. She's known nationally for her efforts. And how long have you been in real estate, Sarita?
I've been a realtor for 16 years. I was an individual agent for the first 8 or so. I've been at Keller Williams since 2010. Have a small team, 2 buyers agents that primarily work as showing partners, and then some admin support and the listing manager. Our best year was in 17. We did about 80 million, 2.1 million in GCI. And then the last couple of years, I've been sort of torn between working full time and doing a grad program that took about half my time as well, and just graduated in May. So
At
excited to
MIT, I might add.
yeah, it's I had very little gray hair, and now it's 100% nice and easy, number black. But it's all good. I loved it.
Right. All right. And how long have you lived in Portland?
We've been here 21 years now. We moved here for my husband's job at Nike, and Nike's headquartered in Beaverton, Oregon, about five miles from downtown Portland.
You're practically a native.
Yep.
You've been there. Where did you come from? Where were you before?
I'm born and raised in Michigan. And I have family there still. But I feel like Boston is probably the closest thing to home prior to Portland. Not only did I do my grad program there, but we moved, when we moved to Boston, I met my husband there. We got married, had our first kid, first house, and then moved from Boston to Portland. So we have a huge affinity for Boston.
I can understand that. Where in Michigan, just out of curiosity?
It's a suburb of Detroit called Shelby Township, Utica,
Yeah.
Rochester area. Madonna went to our rival high school.
Oh, there you go. Claims to fame. I'm from Michigan as well. It's just about
Okay.
90 miles west of there. So
Whereabouts, Chuck?
Yeah, you have to do this. Where in Michigan?
right here, right there.
Minton.
Jackson,
South of Lansing?
I'm south of Lansing.
What town?
Jackson.
I know it well.
Oh,
As long
I
as
went
you
to-
weren't from 600 Cooper Street.
we're going to talk later.
Yeah. By the way, for everybody else, that's the prison address.
Yes, it is. It is Southern Michigan Prison. All right. So moving on. So what we're going to do is talk about it for each town. We're going to talk about 4 different properties at 3 different price points, and then just a fun one that the presenters said it was a cool property, and you just wanted to highlight something that's a little bit out of the ordinary. So Sarita, tell us a little bit about what we're looking at here.
Sure. Yeah. And just to kind of frame this real quick, I just wanted to share kind of hot off the press stats. Our average sale price in Portland was $461. 400 last year. This year, year to date, we're at 489. And the last couple of months, we were at 510 and then 516 in October. So, and we're at the lowest months of inventory the last 2 months, 1.1 months of inventory in October and in September. And so I just want to share that with regards to, you know, when we pick sort of a low, medium, and high price, that's kind of relative to our price point as well. So this beauty is in North Portland, a listing of mine, 385. Tiny house, kind of mid-century, late mid-century, with a mod feel, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 1,065 square feet with a yard, in a cool sort of the whole Keep Portland Weird vibe. It's in North Portland, which does have a very cool vibe. This one just recently sold a couple months ago. It was 385. We got 10 offers. It went for 451.
Wow.
So here's a few pictures of the inside. The sellers didn't actually do much. They bought it top dollar when they bought it, in multiple offers as well. It's just a cutie because it's small, open. It's got hardwood floors, the barn doors, basically, you know, very it's very efficient use of space, modern bathroom, and a cool backyard. But it's really nice for you folks to know in California that like 380s, 400, 450, you can get a pretty cool house that has some character and is not cookie cutter in any way. And so that one's 9426 North Hodge. It did just recently sell. It was a challenge picking listings because everything we have typically goes pretty quickly or is a new listing right now. And I'm sure you guys can relate in your markets.
Yeah. All right. I just want to give people a chance to see those photos again. And how about this next one?
Yeah, this one is a newer listing. It just went on prior to the weekend. It's really close to Nike. And so the stats on this one, it's in Beaverton. We have a metro area in Portland that everything's kind of within 20 minutes driving distance. It's not like when I lived in the Bay Area, you picked a freeway and you stayed on the right or the left, you know. But here, it's just Portland geographically does not have a huge sprawl. It's not a huge, like in being from Michigan, the few people who are from Michigan know that you can be 50, 60 miles from the airport. It's just spread out quite a bit. Here, everything's within a 10 to 15 mile radius of the center of town. So this home is 2011 built, 4 bedroom plus bonus. And that the 4th bedroom could be, so it's really like a 4 bedroom plus den or 3 bedroom plus bonus plus den. So all 4 rooms are up and a den on the main. A great room plan, 2.5 bath, over 3,100 square feet. It's on a large, so for us, an average lot size is 5,000 square feet. So this is a corner lot. It's 9,148 square feet. It doesn't feel that big though, because it doesn't have a huge backyard. It has a little more of a side yard, but that is bigger in Portland speak because our average lot size is 5,000 square feet. Showing you a few of the pictures here. The nice thing about this is the proximity to Nike and Intel, as well as there's a Parks and Rec district, and it's really close to that area where as a resident, you can use all those facilities. So great room plan, kitchen, open, you know, with an island and a large pantry, stainless appliances, hardwood floors, engineered hardwood floors. This is that den. We've learned in COVID times, having a den with the doors super valuable. Having these open spaces are wonderful, but you need to be able to hide and acoustically have your calls. So having doors and having an office back on the main, I would have predicted the office is going to go away because everyone has their sectional and their laptop and iPad. They don't necessarily need an office and everything's paperless, but I feel like this year has reversed that trend back to appreciating having an office. So this is the office on the main. And then if you continue through the pictures, yeah, you can see that the yard has a lot of landscaping, including the arborvitae to give some privacy. You don't see it in this picture. I'm not sure if I included in the next picture. There is a little shed that they have as well. That's kind of a finished shed that could also be used for separate space. So it's a patio, a nice size yard, and really great access. To me, this one, there's that shed. To me, this one, for buyers, it's kind of better than new because the newer construction in the same area, the homes are this close together. So to be able to buy something that's 9 years old, still feels like it's new, but has some elbow room and privacy from neighbors is definitely a welcome treat.
Absolutely.
So this is, for 650, really great, value per square foot and great location and close to everything. And I would think, in other markets, a home like this would be much more.
Yes, it would be. And let me ask you this, is this currently on the market, and
It,
did it go into escrow quickly?
It didn't. I expected it would. It went on Friday. We're sitting here on Wednesday. We had amazing we usually get drizzle in Portland, and we've had buckets of rain just like all weekend it rained. And we've had quite a few showings. I expect it's going to pop soon. It's been very interesting to watch the market, right? Usually we could predict right away if this is a Friday, we're going to have multiple offers and an offer deadline on Monday. I had 3 people tell me just to call me call them when an offer comes in. But it's just interesting that between the election and Thanksgiving, we just went into our shutdown and freeze again as well. No indoor dining, gyms are closed, et cetera. There's a little bit of uncertainty out there. And right now people are dealing with like exactly what they're going to do even for next week. So there's a little bit of that panic that's top of mind right now, but I do expect it's going to go soon.
And then we come to this glorious piece.
Yes, this also is just a recent sale. One of my buyers that bought this home and then got transferred to a job post in Germany. This is a gorgeous mid-century as well. I, as an agent, work largely referral based. So 70+% of my business is referral based. So I don't really work one geography over the other. It's just sort of go where my clients take me. This one was a Nike exec. And a lot of my Nike people just have a real great flair for design and aesthetics. And so we see that in their homes. So this one is a 4-bedroom day ranch with a basement, 4-bedroom, 3 full baths, 3,902 square feet, nice large yard, built in 1957. It's got that whole, mid-century modern feel. If we go through the pictures here, you can see, the beautiful open space, the family room with the see-through fireplace that you'll see here in a minute. Very retro feel, solid construction. They just built these homes like tanks with a lot of attention to detail. The kitchen is very expansive, open, really a great cook's kitchen. I could see everybody hanging out here to entertain. And it is really definitely the center of the home and the hangout space. Really well appointed amenities. The bathroom is gorgeous with this tile shower. And again, a less is more kind of feel, like shelves in the linen for the linen, as opposed to like a traditional closet, for example. So you have to be organized to have your towels line up like that. Big yard with sort of a double level deck on top and a covered patio below, so that the basement goes out. I had a hard time picking just a few pictures here because there's so many different cool spaces about this house, including some stained concrete on the lower level. And just had a very cool feel that sort of is not faddish in any way. It's just really timeless. And garden boxes and a great yard. So this one sold for $960, which again, I think is a great value for a home like this in a wonderful neighborhood on a cul-de-sac. Super private, but still not isolated, which is what a lot of people like.
Excellent. And here's your just for fun.
Yeah,
Why
I put
is
this
one
one.
fun? Tell us about
Well,
that.
and I would say this, right? Keep Portland weird. I could have shown you so many. There's one that's a purple house with like gnomes out in front, like hundreds of gnomes. So like there's a lot of funky, cool things in Portland. What I liked about this one, it's like the wagon wheel. And please, I don't mean to take offense when I say this, but it's like the wagon wheel grandma house. Like it's solid 1968 home. It was the original owners and never been on the market. So they've had it for over 40 years, or, actually 50 years now. And so when we go through it, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath ranch, and it has a very much a cowboy, like saloon kind of feel. It feels like a lodge or a rancher's home. So 1726 square feet. When I first was setting it up, it was so dark. I had to like open everything to take pictures. I'm like, how's this thing gonna sell? It's like time didn't move when we listed this house. And by the way, I'm saying everything I would say to their face, even the sellers, it's their parents' home, and they're even like, yikes, what are we going to do here? That carpet is green. You've got the paneled, so this is the front family room. If you go on, this is the back room that was, it's like a converted garage. It's got paneled ceilings. It's got covered sort of saloon style doors on the windows. You see all sorts of artifacts from their hunting. I was even like, let's please remove rifles for showings. So really coaching them on how to, but like we just decided, let's embrace the quirk, right? Like it's a cool, solid house and it's perfect for someone who wants something a little different. It's not the house you buy because you want to change every inch. It's the house that you sort of take and you kind of almost accentuate the quirks because I mean, they don't build homes like those. Look at the woodwork above, right? With the attention to detail. I mean, there's just a lot here that instead of trying to figure out how, this is the bathroom, and I had to put a picture because there's like a square tub with these glass blocks, and then there's this sort of drying area because it's just a tile platform, and then that's wallpaper. So it's just kind of a funky bathroom, but when you look at it, the floor plan and everything's sort of in the right place, and it's the kind of home that people can just and really just put some love into and change over time. But it's a very livable home the way it is. It wasn't falling apart in any way. We had like 15 showings a day, multiple offers. It closes on Friday. So and we were holding our breath through the inspection because that's the one beauty about selling a home every 5 or 7 years is it's inspected every time it goes on the market. This one, there was a lot of, again, head scratchers as you just didn't know what you were going to expect. So what we really wanted was a buyer that had an emotional connection with it, which is what we got. A young family that was looking for something different, is super artistic, likes projects, and really respected the home for what it was.
Excellent.
So I just thought I'd put that in because, again, that's one where we didn't know what would happen. But like looking at the price point for $399, it's a great value, nice big yard, wonderful
When's it closing?
neighborhood. It closes on Friday.
At what price?
Docs are a title. We actually ended up just taking right at full price. So it's $399. There was a couple concessions we did for some repairs. So $394 will be our close.
Excellent. Wow. And of course, this is what's so much fun about these different areas of the country and different towns and different cities is there's gonna be more of this in different places and more well, especially in Portland, the weird and the wacky,
Yeah.
right? And who wants anything else?
Yep, absolutely. And with COVID, it's just been really fun to talk to people from California saying, hey, Google's not going back, till 2021, if not ever, and I can now live anywhere. So we've got a lot of migration coming in. I've got people also leaving and saying, I want to go to the coast, or I want to go to Bend, Oregon, or people can now design that life that they don't have to wait
Their own.
for.
Rita, we've got a question from Adelaide. And Adelaide, are you there?
Hi, yes, I'm here.
Yeah. Hi, Adelaide. How are you?
Ask your question to Sarita.
Sarita, we are, good public schools are a real priority for us and something that is making us think deeply about relocating. And I was just wondering if you could name a neighborhood in Portland that is known for good schools.
Sure, absolutely. So there's a couple things here. One, we don't have sales tax. And I mention that because it's actually a challenge because of the schools then is a lot of the funding comes from taxes, property taxes and sales taxes. And if there's no sales tax and then the voters don't vote that in, you get some hit and miss on schools. Beaverton in general is excellent schools. Lake Oswego is excellent schools. Portland's interesting because Portland Public has some great schools that are 10s out of 10s and then others that are not.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I work with clients, I point them to, actually it was a study done by Portland Monthly Magazine that rates all the schools. And then I even put them in touch with a lot of my clients, like, oh, you're thinking about that school. Here's 3 clients that have given me permission to give their name and number. So that you can, people, whether it's you or your clients, can actually make those connections. Because some of the best schools that are 10s, one of the downsides for some of those schools is they're really crowded. There's maybe 6 or 7 kindergartens. And then, so that's 200 plus students per grade. And I've had people that said, look, I've got a bright kid, but I've got a shy kid. And I don't want, I don't know if I want them in such a large environment. And so sometimes people are also prioritizing maybe not a 10, maybe an 8 or 9,
Right.
but with smaller classrooms and a higher, I should say a lower staff to student ratio. So based on all that criteria, I help people make the match. That's one thing I love about living here this long and having kids, that when we moved, my daughter, who's 21 now, was she was 8 weeks old. And so like they, their whole life has been here, and we've gone through like everything with regards to schools, sports, etc.
Thank you so much. That
Yep,
was really
absolutely.
helpful. Appreciate it.
Adelaide, you also asked the very first question, which means that you get a $25 gift certificate. It's going to be
Oh, wow. Look
I
at
know.
that.
Look at you
Woohoo.
participating and getting rewarded.
Well, thank you.
All right.
I have a couple questions for
Thank
Sarita.
you, Rita.
Sure.
Sarita, my dear friend, it's been a while since I've seen you.
Good to see you.
Thanks. I have a couple questions. What area, where exactly do you live in Portland, and why did you choose that area?
Great question. So we have a quadrant system in Portland. We have the river that separates the east and west side. And then we have this like road, which is the freeway, and it ends up being the street called Burnside that separates north and south. And so we started in Northwest, which is closest to Nike. It's kind of the burbs, but it felt like great schools, great location. Then when my kids went to private school, we realized we can move anywhere. And so we moved to the east side, which has older homes. We lived in a 1910 Craftsman, very walkable. On the whole, didn't have the best schools compared to where we were, but we didn't care as much about schools at that point. And we ended up remodeling our Craftsman. And then we went to Southwest, which is where my kids go to school, and where they went to high school, in a modern new construction. And now we're downtown in the Pearl District because we're downsizers, the empty nesters now. So we've lived in 3 of the 4 quadrants. And I say that like candidly, which is, I can speak to anyone on like having lived in 3 of the 4 quadrants and now downtown, that like I've actually lived there. The only one we haven't lived in is Southeast, which has like the best food and is really the coolest and the quirkiest. It's just the hardest to get to Nike from there. So that's why we didn't do that. But East and West might as well be Mars and Venus. And so I actually get a lot of referrals from just across the river sometimes, because there's some East Side agents that only do East Side, and there's some West Side agents that only do West Side. And I love that I've done both, so I can at least do a great sample tour for clients on all parts of our town, and then zoom into the ones that appeal to them.
Oh, awesome. Okay, and then how many, and a percentage, or have you even seen any Californians moving your way that you've worked with? I know we've referred clients to you, but besides those.
Yeah. So you're saying how many percent are coming from California? Is
Yeah,
that the
just, are you
question?
seeing a lot of Californians going to Portland?
Yeah, we're seeing a lot. We're seeing Bay Area quite a bit. We're seeing LA quite a bit. My migration right now is Southern Cal, Northern Cal, Folsom Cal, because they come for Intel. Folsom is an Intel site, and Santa Clara is an Intel site. And then we're getting a lot from the East Coast, New Jersey, Vermont, et cetera. They're just, and people are just honestly picking Portland for Portland. They'll just be like, hey, I'm retiring. I've only been there once, but we really like it. And so because we are an hour and a half away from year-round skiing at Mount Hood, and we're not an hour and a half away from the coast, and we're 3 hours away from Bend, which is high desert, 300 days of sun a year.
Nice.
So it's just a good location because it's super accessible. And I think as long as we're between San Francisco and Seattle, we are one of the lowest priced West Coast coastal markets, right? Like just where you can get to the coast, but of all the markets from San Diego all the way to Seattle, we are kind of probably on the lower side there price wise. So we're kind of enjoying the squeeze between higher price markets.
Great.
I
Awesome.
don't have a good percentage, but I'm happy to, I'll look that up and get back to you, Jesse.
Good. Thanks.
Thank you
Yeah.
for those questions, Chessie. I so appreciate that.
She
All
wanted
right.
the gift card. Chuck, she
You-
wanted the gift
You wanted
card.
a gift card? She wasn't
No,
first.
no. We're
Wasn't
sponsors.
first.
so we
I'm
don't
kidding.
qualify for that.
I'm
All
kidding,
right,
I'm
then.
kidding.
So, Sarita, thank you for that. We're going to switch
Yes.
gears, and now we're going to go inland a little bit. And Jay Andrus, if you want to go ahead and unmute yourself.
I think Margaret had a question too, by the way.
Oh, Margaret, did you have a question?
Yes, I do. Really quick. I know you touched on schools, and I'm just curious about the income tax, or I'm sorry, property, because you don't have income tax.
We don't have sales tax.
Sales
Like,
tax.
so when you buy a MacBook here and it's $12.99, you're going to pay $12.99. There's
Okay.
no sales tax.
How
But
are
we
the-
do have property tax.
And what average percentage is that?
So I don't know by percentage, but I would say, $7,000 to like $13,000. Even $1 million home might have up to like $15,000 property tax. We're not like in the 25 or 30K. The highest end homes may have 25 or 30K, but for the most part, our average is quite a bit lower. One thing that's very interesting about Portland is you don't get reassessed on sale. It's just, we have a 3% kind of, your assessed value goes up about 3% every year. So if you buy a house for 300 and you sell it for $1 million, that next buyer isn't automatically reassessed at $1 million. It stays on that 3% track unless you do a massive remodel that's permitted, or that the city every so often will re-up and reassess a neighborhood. But that's something that a lot of my Californians love, because they, you can buy and sell and not affect your property tax vector, if you will. So they are quite reasonable. The only downside for that is you have to live in the school system you want. It's not like you can sweet talk your way into lottery and get, live in an area that doesn't have great schools and then go to the best school. You're going to have to actually, a lot of my business is people literally selling their house and moving 3 miles over because they want a different school and they have to live in that district.
Now, is that 3%?
And I'm Margaret. I'm just gonna say we've
Yeah.
got to move on because we've got to get on to the next
You
one.
and I could talk offline about this. I'm
You
happy to
talk
answer
offline
questions.
about that.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
And thank you for your kindness, Margaret. I appreciate that. And of course, also remember, you don't have to pump gas in Portland either, but that's another thing. All right. So Jay Andrus, thank you so much for being with us. And how long have you lived in Boise?
I lived in the Boise, Idaho area for about 20 years now.
20
Moved here when I
years.
was 17.
And you moved here from where?
My dad was active duty in the military, so he was stationed in England for 3 years. So we moved from there. He was stationed at Mountain Home, but he didn't want to make us do the drive, so we got to live in Meridian while he did the drive.
Okay, excellent. And how long have you been a realtor?
16 years.
16 years, right
Yes.
on. Excellent. And you live in Boise itself or in one of the surrounding areas?
I live in one of the surroundings. I live in Meridian, which actually borders up to Boise.
And you called that the Golden Triangle, was that it?
No, it's the Treasure Valley.
Treasure Valley.
Yes,
Treasure
the Treasure
Valley.
Valley.
Golden Triangle, Treasure Valley, very different.
So we have Boise, which is in Ada County. Ada County has Boise, Meridian, Eagle, Star, Cuna, and then we have Canyon County, which has Nampa, Caldwell. But the whole area combined is called the Treasure Valley. But I'm going to focus on Boise and Ada County today.
Great. And what's the market like there right now?
Oh man, the market. So right now for October of 2020, it'll be last month, there was 1,112 sales. Our median sales price in Ada County is $406,000. The average days on market is 20. We have currently 1,906 pending sales. Our inventory only has 443 active listings as of last month. Our inventory supply is less than half a month right now.
Wow.
So not only the buying and selling market is on fire, but the rental market is showing the exact same thing as well.
How you holding up?
It's been busy.
It's been busy.
Yeah.
I bet. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share the screen again. It says it's going to share it. There we go. And can you all see the
Nope.
the screen? It didn't
Nope.
share. All right. Can you see my screen now?
Nope.
Nope. All right. Come on, baby. Screen share. We're going to blame Microsoft.
Doing it.
It's doing it.
Sort of. Yep. There we go.
There we go. All right. So there's Jay Andrus. Look how I spelled it correctly on this time. On this.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's right.
There you go. And so why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about what we're looking at here?
All right, so right now you'd be hard pressed to find anything decent under $300,000 in Boise area. This house is in Boise. It's not a premier area of Boise, but it's in Boise. This was listed on Friday for $299,900. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1320 square feet. It's on a sizable lot built in 1978. When we go through the pictures, you see that it's nicely done inside. It's not like a luxurious remodel, but it's done nicely. But I wanted to share this one with you guys because when I picked it over the weekend, I knew by the time we had this meeting, it would be pending. And I was able to get from the agent that they had it listed at $299,900. It's pending at $350,000.
Wow.
We are seeing in the lower price ranges, we are seeing bidding wars, multiple price offers. We're seeing lots of people bidding 30, 40, 50,000 over asking and agreeing to pay the difference of a short appraisal for cash to closing. So very, very hot market here.
We heard that, Chezzy. We heard that.
Another one there.
All right, so in Boise, we have our premier neighborhoods or desirable areas, and this one is in Harris Branch. So you'll probably hear about Harris Branch on the north end. I definitely want to share this one with you because Harris Branch has a lot of row homes. So this one's more of a regular single family house. It's 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2,873 square feet, a very small lot, but it's new construction. It's built in 2020, and they're advertised at 685. I think it's been on the market for 80 days, but it's still under construction. So some of these photos are photos somewhere. I'm going to go to the next slide. So in the Harris Ranch, you're going to see more of the luxurious, modern, really good quality craftsman construction. You've got the really nice laminate floors that look like wood that'll last forever. Just nice and open, white and clean. Slide. Big islands, granite countertops, just everything you would need for entertaining.
And what's the price on this one again?
On this one, it's $685,949.
Okay. It's a great game room.
Yeah, so this is upstairs, completely separate from everything downstairs. They had lots of great photos, but we can only pick so many. And this is like a picture of the view from where that house is sitting right now.
Okay. Those hills.
Right, it butts right up to the foothills.
Yeah.
And so from this neighborhood, you've got quick access to the interstate. You have quick access to Barber Park, which is where you can jump into the Boise River and float. You've got access to the Greenbelt bicycle system, and Lucky Peak, which is a reservoir for boating and skiing. You're just close to everything right here at Harris Ranch.
Excellent. And then we go up in price a little bit.
We sure do. So this house is actually in Eagle, Idaho. So it's another part of Ada County. So you want to talk about a golden triangle? It's kind of like Boise, Eagle, Meridian. So they all touch together. Eagle is another premier area, but it's not in Boise. So the house I'm showing you today is listed at $1.1 million. It's 5-bedroom, 4.5 bath, 3,771 square feet. It's on a very sizable lot, 1.1 acres, and it's built in 1997. This one has here's an aerial view, and you can kind of see it's got a pool. I think I have another aerial view so you can kind of see. So right now land is starting to become a real premium here in Ada County. So if you had 5 acres right now and you wanted to split it, you have to split it into 5 different parcels, because if you split something right now, it can't be more than an acre for one of the parcels you have left behind, because everyone's trying to hold on to the land.
Okay. And of course, you have to remember, you have to mow all of that. I'm looking at all those lovely lines.
Absolutely. So I've learned over the years that Californians call landscapers gardeners. So you'd have to probably hire a gardener so you could live on with your life while they mow all that for you. So this is just a really nice house, huge, lots of good entertaining. They've done some renovations and updates. And like I said, Eagle is definitely a premier area that a lot of people want to be in.
And then we have the fun one.
The very fun one. So getting into this one, what I want to share with you is whenever there's fireworks in the valley, having a view for these fireworks is just amazing. And so this house is on Warm Springs Avenue, which is kind of close to Harris Ranch. And it's a road that goes from downtown Boise to Lucky Peak Reservoir, and it goes along the Greenbelt. Everybody wants to be on Warm Springs Road. So this house is 7.75 million, 5 bedrooms, 5.5 bath, 6129 square feet, and it actually is attached to a 60-acre lot, which is phenomenal. It was built in 1996. Slide. So big, open, lots of natural light flowing in. They really remodeled this one really well, in my opinion. I mean, look at the size of that island. It's got the cooktop in it. This is just perfect for entertaining. You got another sink in the island, and just all that natural light flowing in. I kind of wish I could rent this Airbnb one weekend. So this is a picture of the master bath. You've got that really cool looking granite with the dual vanities and just all that light still flowing in it. And where it's at, it's very private. So having the windows open is not a very big deal at this house. It's got a pool and a greenhouse set up, so you can use your pool year round. So part of the problem here with pools is you can only use them about 3 or 4 months out of the year when they're outside. We just got hit with some pretty big snow a week or two ago. It's already melted. We got some nice sleet today. So our winter is really about to start. So all these people's pools, unless they're heated and they want to pay that heat bill, they're not gonna be able to use them for the rest of the year. So this is very nice. And then this is, this house has a nice big balcony with a big view. And then I think the next slide has a really good picture of the view for Boise. So just imagine seeing all the fireworks at night from your private view.
And so, Jay, where are people from Southern California tending to want to land when they come to the greater Boise area?
If they're moving here, if they've sold their house and they've got the finances, they're definitely looking in Harris Ranch, the North End, and Eagle. There's a couple of really nice subdivisions in Eagle because they have a lot of the Boise River flowing through there. So you have like 2 rivers and 3 river subdivisions. They really like to be in those areas. We have quite a few California clients who aren't ready to make the move out of California yet. They want to buy something here now to lock the price in and lock that interest rate in. And so we just throw some tenants in it for them and manage it for them until they make it here, and then give the house back to them.
Right, absolutely. And what's it like more in city center?
In the city center, there is not a lot of single family houses directly in the city center, but you have a lot of condos and townhouses that you could buy into. Those are pretty spendy, looking at starting at $600,000 for a townhouse.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course they have, pretty sizable monthly HOA dues, probably starting around $600 a month.
And so I'm wondering who might have a question for Jay about Boise and the surrounding areas? Now's your chance.
Jay, sorry I didn't meet you sooner, but I already bought one in Eagle.
Oh, no worries. You got renters in it?
I bought from the builder. It's in Craig and Woods, and I
Yeah,
bought a lot. So we're going to be building on it.
awesome. Are you guys moving here after that, or what are you doing with that?
It's going to be a second home. It might be our
Okay.
retirement home at some point. So yes,
Awesome.
another Californian coming your way.
You made a good move by locking it in now.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
I
Jay,
do have a question.
Deanna.
I think it's for the entire area. Do you have basements?
We do have some houses that do have basements in them, especially the ones that were built kind of in the 70s to the 90s. We get that single level below grade, and most of them that you come across are finished out. They usually do a pretty good job.
Is there a reason why they don't do them more often, like with the new homes?
I don't think the builders find them that profitable here. There's not a huge demand for full-size basements here, and the crowd that's buying these days. Usually when you come across, someone who's been around a lot longer, they really love the basements. My wife grew up in a house that had a basement, and every time we go looking, she's always about that basement. But most buyers I'm with, they're like, "Oh, a basement, that's cool. Hey, what about this house without one?"
Where did your wife grow up?
She grew up here in Boise.
All right. Are there tornadoes in Boise?
No,
No.
there was one micro.
That's why you need a basement. You need a basement to get away from the tornadoes.
True.
Yeah,
That's why they're all out in the east. But here out on the West Coast, we don't have basements for that reason. We have them for old gravity heat systems.
pretty much. The biggest worry here is earthquakes, but we only have like minor tremors that you barely ever feel. They're more up north, but.
Yes, Chuck, let's talk more about natural disasters in Boise.
So does that mean you're on a slab, or do they put them on crawl spaces?
Most of the houses are on a crawl space with a foundation. There are some builders that were building in some time periods, they try to do just slab, and they just kind of went away from them because they didn't like if the plumbing, if the water pipe freezes on them, it's a huge mess to get that fixed, or trying to run wires after the house is built. So that most houses you'll find will be slab. I'm sorry, they'll be crawl spaces. And the most new construction now have heated crawl spaces or conditioned crawl spaces.
Dan, I believe you had a question.
Yeah, Jay, with the the mass exodus out of California into Idaho, Chesapeake just mentioned we bought in Eagle. Just wondering if you're seeing or hearing any rumblings about tax increases or anything like that, because I know Star is exploding and everything out there. So just curious if you're hearing anything about that.
Yes, it's a two. Let me answer that in two parts. So in Ada County, we have what we see a levy for about 0.75% if you have your homeowner's exemption attached. So in Idaho, if you live in the house as your primary residence, you can attach a homeowner's exemption, and they will basically take the assessment value of the house minus $100,000. That's what you get assessed on, not the full value. But if you don't own the home, the tax levy comes out to about 1.1% for that house if it's an investment for you, if you don't have your homeowner exemption attached to it. Now, the only area we know of specifically where they're trying to increase property taxes is Boise City. Mayor McLean is pushing that through. A lot of people aren't happy about it, but the rest of Ada County, Meridian, Eagle, those places they're staying pretty solid on the property taxes where they were.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
I have a question.
Yes.
Hey, Jay, could you talk about the weather? Like, what's the climate in Boise?
Oh man, you had to ask me today. I was having nice weather with a drink. One of my agents and I had a drink earlier today, and then I went home. My wife and I went to Winco, and we got hit by a sleet storm as we were going to the Winco. Came out, it was dark, and it was starting to dry up again. So we really do have 4 seasons in Idaho. It's really nice in the summertime. The spring is nice. The fall is nice too. We do have snow and it does get cold. Down in the valley, you typically have about 3 or 4 days where the snow sticks and it hangs around for 3 or 4 days. Other than that, it's pretty nice year round, except for when it gets really cold.
What's the skiing like?
Oh, the skiing's great. We got Bogus Basin. You can get there in about 45 minutes. This is the first year actually that I know of Bogus Basin opening before Thanksgiving. They're opening it this weekend. And not only at Bogus Basin, if you want to get away a little bit, just going up north, you've got Tamarack, which is in Cascade Donnelly, and then you've got Brundage, which is up in McCall, and those are just great weekend getaway places. Tons of snow, lots of fun. You can rent snowmobiles, the whole package.
And hot springs too.
What's that?
And hot springs too.
Oh, we have lots of natural hot springs. Some are commercialized. Some you can just hike to if you know where they're at. It's always a good time.
That's excellent. Any final questions for Jay or for Sarita?
Margaret, you had one.
No? Okay.
Yeah, I think it was around taxes, and I can do some homework on that and get back to you. Margaret, you're on mute, I think.
I was sort of curious about the first home, Jay, that you showed that went for 50 or 60 over asking. Were those Californians, or was that, I mean, maybe you don't know who the buyer was, but is it Californians that are driving up the prices?
I don't know who the buyer was on that particular deal, but it may or may not have been a Californian. So California is not only exiting to here, also they're going to Portland, they're going to Vegas, they're going to Texas. So we're seeing some of those people who are from there come here because the word's gotten out about how awesome the Boise area is. And then they feel like they're getting overcrowded with Californians. So they come here not knowing that we're having the same population explosion as well. So it also makes it hard for locals who, oh, wow, my house value's here. I want to upgrade. Oh, but you've got to spend, this amount of money. And so a lot of people aren't wanting to upgrade. So we have a short supply, and that lower price range, everyone's just scrambling for a roof over their head. So that's kind of where that's being driven from. I think we do have a lot of cash in the valley right now from investors wanting to get a hold of investments. So you have to compete with the all cash guys who really can bring in the difference of an appraisal if there is one.
Yeah.
I would add to that between the low rates and people realizing that they thought they'd be home from 7 to 10 p.m. and then weekends, and now they're home 24/7 and they hate their yard or their neighbor's barking dog or the fact that they don't have a kitchen that they love. They're realizing that they do want that, like the house that they want, and that they're not willing to compromise. And so we're also seeing, even with some economic uncertainty, like if there's a layoff coming, they still want to get in with these rates and be set because the payment will be less than their rent. And then, you know, if they, for some reason, their job situation changes, they may be off the rails for a while before they can qualify again. So we're just seeing this huge scrambling of a lot of locals just reshuffling here because home means something so much more different than it did at the beginning of this year.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more.
Margaret, you had a question?
So we talked about property taxes. What is it? Sales tax, income tax in Idaho?
So in Idaho, our sales tax is 6%. I don't quote me exactly on the income tax for the state income tax. I want to say it's around 9%, but I don't know. My accountant knows. But sales tax is 6%, and we don't have a lot of other taxes that a lot of places have, like a lot of weird taxes, and also our utilities are very low comparatively to what most people are used for coming here.
Isn't water included in the taxes or something?
No.
I thought it was.
Are you thinking of irrigation water maybe?
Oh, maybe.
Okay, so yeah, so your domestic water, that, you know, what you use for inside your house, that's not included. But if you're in an irrigation district, instead of paying for your irrigation water to water your yard by the drop, you just pay a one-time fee a year, and you have as much water as you need to irrigate your lawn. So I have a rental in on the bench in Boise, and I just got my 2021 irrigation assessment, and it was $33.
Wow, that's a good deal.
My house in Meridian that I live in, I think we pay $75 a year for irrigation there.
Excellent.
Nice.
But don't drink the irrigation water.
All right, last chance to ask a question at this very moment of Jay or Sarita.
I do have a question for Jay again. What's the rental market like there for somebody who might be looking for an investment property?
It is the right place. Right now in Ada County, you can expect to get at least $1 per square foot or more up to a 2,000 square foot house. I cannot keep a rental vacant. In fact, when we had to get a phone system in place as we grew, because when we started launching rentals, we'd have 1 million people calling. We'd have 10 applications come in overnight sight unseen, and it has not slowed down one bit, especially for I would say for the $1,500 and lower. But even now for the $1,800 and lower in Boise, it is just, you have no problem filling in and you have your pick a tenant.
What are the cap rates like there, Jay?
So with the prices going up, the cap rates are probably still right around 5.5%, 6% for a regular investor coming in to buy something that's on the market. If you can find something kind of off the market and kind of work a deal, it can be different, but you're still getting around 5.5% to 6% buying something off the market. But then you could do that, and then a year you could raise the rents and kind of reset that cap rate. So
yeah, okay. I can't thank Sarita and Jay enough for sharing your talents and your time and your wisdom and your numbers and answering questions for everybody for this past hour. This is being recorded, so it's going to be going out to literally tens of thousands of people to watch at a later date as well. And if you have any questions at all about getting in touch with Sarita or with Jay, all you have to do is reach out to one of the teams that sponsored this, the Chesi Pagano team, who showed up in force. Thank you so much for being here today. The Red Real Estate Group, Hoffman Murphy in the South Bay Redondo area, or the David Knight team, who all work together to make this happen. Do you have any final words of wisdom or something you'd like to share, Sarita? before we sign
No.
off?
I just love that you guys do this. It's such a great thing to see teams that come together. You may be even competing at times, and the fact that you collaborate together for the good of the industry and to really pick each other's brains and be advisors for each other. I think it's a really cool thing, and it's a model that many of us should look at in our own market. So thank you for having us, and I really appreciate you introducing us to this innovative approach.
Yeah, we appreciate you. And Jay?
My same sentiments on this program you put together. Thank you for having us, and it's amazing. I'm glad I could help and be here. And for everybody else, if anything, take advantage of those rates right now, because you just don't know how long they're going to last. And if an interest rate goes up just a small portion, it costs you a lot more over 30 years. So take advantage.
Excellent. All right. Thank
Thank
you
you,
everyone
guys.
for being with us. And you all be safe, wear masks, stay away from each other, keep each other safe and healthy. And we can't wait to be with you soon. We're gonna give you a real good squish when we're allowed to again.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you,
Happy
guys.
Everybody.
Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.